homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Good morning. The older I get, the more I understand why roosters scream at daylight. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today we are harvesting potatoes. Now, if you followed this channel for this year, you know that our potato crop didn't come up too good. I started with 3 rows, but 1 row only had 3 plants that came up in it. So we're going to harvest the 2 rows that came up pretty good. Now I have come out yesterday evening and I bush hogged, a little bit low. I see a couple of potatoes out here on the ground that I bush hogged up, where I chopped the dirt up. So I got a little bit low on my bush hog, but it'll be all right. Now I've dropped off the bush hog this morning and put on the potato plow. Put it on backwards to begin with and had to turn it around. But we need to get out here and plow the potatoes up. I have to do it before it gets hot. Today it's only going to be in the 70s, so I'm not as rushed as maybe on some other days. But the way I do it is I take that potato plow and I set it so that it goes down under the potatoes. And as it goes through, it lifts them out and throws them out on the ground on the outside. Now, finding the exact hill is not a perfect science. So sometimes I'll waggle off and miss the hill and there won't be many potatoes and I'll have to come back through and run the potato plow again, okay? That's just the way it is. But it beats digging them with a potato fork. I've done that too. I do it as the year goes on. I'll go down through here and dig a few. We call it graveling. Just getting a few and leaving the plants. Now, when do you harvest potatoes? You harvest your potatoes when the vines die. Okay? My vines have been dead for about 3 weeks. The longest I like to leave them is about a month. I don't like to leave them longer than a month. So let's get down through here and dig some potatoes. Okay, the ground was really soft. It's not wet, but it's soft. So when I engaged the plow, the tractor wanted to dig in rather than with its wheels and sink. So I had to raise the plow a little bit higher than I normally like to use it. So let's go down and see what we turned up. I would say there's a few potatoes down through there. So let me show you how I dig them. If you follow my channel, you know that I have some problems bending over. So I'll show you how I dig these. I use a 5-gallon bucket and a picker, a grabber. And the reason I use the 5-gallon bucket is after a while, if you're trying to lift in these potatoes, some of them are going to be big. If you're trying to lift these potatoes over into the tractor all the time with the grabber, it wastes a lot of time. And the 5-gallon bucket is so much easier. Just pick stuff up and put it in it. So let's go over here and get at it. Now, how are they coming out so far? Dropped it. Dang it. This is how they're coming out. I've got them from this size. Here's my head in relation. Down to that size. Now, I pick them all, okay, because these make great seed potatoes come spring. Okay, so I get them all. So I'm gonna go down through here and pick up, and then when I get about halfway down, I'll move my tractor down to help get the rest. So, okay, woo, let's get at this. Okay, first 5-gallon bucket full. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tractor up. I'm going to turn this off because you don't have to watch me pick it all up. And I'll show you what I get when I'm done. Okay, I have done the second plowing of the first row. That first row you saw me plow, I've done the second plowing, and I've plowed the second row and picked them all up already, but I haven't second plowed it yet. But let me show you what the second plowing does for you, because you can't always get perfect in a row. Here is what the second plowing has done for me. See those potatoes there? There's plenty of potatoes showing down through there. Now there's a few potatoes I missed picking up on the other row over there, so I need to get those picked up before I do the second plowing. But yeah, second plowing is an important thing. There's probably half of a 5-gallon bucket just right here. Okay, here's my tater haul. One thing I want to tell you is that at the beginning of the year, when I was planting the potatoes, I told you to plant them a foot apart. Now, the reason I tell you that, some people will tell you 8 inches, but that crowds the potatoes too much. Plant them a foot apart. If you plant them 8 inches, you don't get any potatoes that size. Okay? That's a good steak potato. We love these Kennebecs. They're I'll get it out. They're a waxy potato, and you don't even need butter on them. They are awesome. So, how much is there? There's about 100 pounds of potatoes there is all. I'd say 90 to 100 pounds. 10-pound bags from the store. Now, Crystal and I don't go through a 10-pound bag a month, hardly. So these would be enough to last me the year, but these will only last in our basement till about January. So normally, this has been a mediocre year. Okay, it's not been a bad year, but it's not been a good year. This is a mediocre year. The seed I got, the potatoes didn't come up good. So this row, only about half or a third of the potatoes that I planted actually came up. So this is what they yielded. I hope it isn't a disease and these all rot in the basement, but only time will tell that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread these out under a tarp under our maple tree. Now, for about 3 days, these will get covered up at night and then uncovered in the morning. I'm going to spread them where none of the potatoes are touching and that kind of stuff. And you don't have to see that. You can figure out how to spread potatoes out on a tarp. Now, these potatoes, very few of them ever get damaged in plowing them up. I get a few that are damaged, and those I just take in the house with me, and we'll eat those today. I think Crystal's making some kind of chicken thing, and mashed taters go good with everything. So I'll take in the damaged ones for her. There aren't maybe 10 of them. And I know you see me plow this, you go, gosh, don't that tear your potatoes up? I see a tater I missed. No, they don't. For the most part, it goes down under the potatoes and pushes the dirt up. So every now and then it cuts one, but very seldom. So I'm going to get these up there and laid out. They need a couple days to develop a skin. This potato, see right here? See that? That's the skin. The skin is very tender on these Kennebecs, and in order to store them, you need them to develop a tougher skin. Well, they do that out in the open air, but I don't like to set them in the sunlight because of the way the sun does them. It turns them green, so I don't like that. So I set them under my maple tree. I lay out a tarp, put them on it. Then at night, when it's gonna dew, we have heavy dews here, especially in the fall. So when it's going to dew, I just cover them. And then the next day I take it off. I do that for 3 or 4 days, and then I'll show you how we store our potatoes in another video. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homestead stuff every week, sometimes once, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what goes on in the homestead that week. If you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So, yeah, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.